We've got to talk about how world politics got a major shakeup this weekend after the president and foreign minister of Iran died in a helicopter crash. Both of them were visiting East Azerbaijan, which, despite the name, is part of Iran and in the western part of the country. Notably, the area is extremely mountainous, and during their flight, they ran into very thick fog. Helicopters and fog, not the best combination, especially when you combine that with hilly or mountainous terrain. And while it's currently unclear what the failure was, you had state media saying that there was a technical failure. But regardless, the flight crashed and killed everyone on board. Now, initially, there was some hope that there might have been some survivors, but it took rescue workers hours to get to the super remote crash site, and by then, essentially all hope was lost. With footage from a Turkish broadcaster allegedly from the site showing that it was a Bell 212 that crashed. Right, and that's actually very notable because those are made by the US and Canada, and they were likely bought decades ago before sanctions. And those sanctions, they may have led to trouble getting spare parts, leading to speculation that maybe that played a role in the crash. Although it should be said that despite Twitter conspiracy theories, it doesn't look like this was some secret plot by the CIA or the Mossad to kill Raisi, especially as Iran state media is not even making claims like that. But, that said, President Ebrahim Raisi's death, it's a massive deal both domestically and internationally beyond just normal day-to-day politics. Right? At home, there will be new elections soon and the presidency will be temporarily filled by the VP. But there, Raisi was seen as one of the last old guard of Iranian leaders from during the revolution. He was also widely considered one of the very few people who could really take over the supreme leader position when Khomeini dies. Right? That short list is even shorter now, with Khomeini's son believed to be one of the most likely successors now, which is extremely ironic because it'll turn the republic into a hereditary monarchy wrapped in Islamic iconography, which is something the republic was established to get rid of. But that, of course, further down the road, and as far as the now, there will be a funeral procession for Raisi, and while that will be widely attended, it's also very likely that this death will be celebrated, which, might seem odd when you consider that he won the presidential vote with like 60+% of the vote. However, a very key thing there is that pretty much all of his opponents were barred from running on top of a record low turnout. Additionally, we're talking about a guy that was infamous in Iran for having blood on his hands because shortly after the revolution, he was in charge of killing political prisoners, with that leading to thousands of deaths. And he apparently never really broke that habit considering how heavy-handed his government's been with the past 2 years of protests. And then with this, there's an international shakeup. The death of Raisi as well as the foreign minister, it comes as tensions are extremely high in the region. You have Iran and Israel exchanging blows both directly, and not to mention all the proxy groups Iran supports that attack Israel. And those, they include the two major concerns that Israel has right now, Hamas and Hezbollah. And as a matter of fact, Iran is pretty much the only power in the region that supports those groups directly with funds and guns. But then finally, with this, of course, there is the big question now, that is, what's next? Right, we need to see which way Iran wants to go with a new leader and whether that'll be a continued hardline shift on Islamic revolutionary politics or a return to a slightly more moderate leader like ex-President Rouhani. Although there, you have most experts saying that Israel shouldn't expect much of a change. Though also, because Raisi was considered one of the few people capable of legitimately carrying on the mantle of supreme leader without much pushback, there's currently a growing question of just how long the Islamic Republic would last after Khomeini's death. So yeah, just a little tiny possible game-changing news today.